morning on ITV, I'm using the current affairs program. Now it's all about education. We understand that ASU strike has entered its second day today. But before that, something happened in Ambrose Alli University. And this morning I've been joined by Edward Alli, PROAAU. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And also here is Professor Dan Ahulomi. He is a newly appointed Dean of Students. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now there was a protest in that school. Something led to that protest, and subsequently the school was closed down indefinitely, like I said. But before then, let's take a look at this report.
Gunshots as students come for safety when military personnel who were said to be passing by the expressway needed to clear the traffic started shooting to disperse the angry students.
They don't oppress students for this country. They don't oppress students. Let's see how they shoot. Let's not shoot students. This busy protest, busy protest. We are not to say anything. They just shot somebody now. They just shot somebody now. They just shot somebody now. They just shot somebody. We are not to say anything.
The protesting students turned out in a large number in the early hours of the day, blocking the Benin-Auchi Express Road to stop vehicular movement to and fro. The men's school gates and the School of Medicine AAU were also under lock, thereby preventing staff, including the Vice Chancellor, from gaining entrance. The students, who started chanting solidarity songs, played game on a mattress spread on the highway. According to some of the students, the management has increased the school fees beyond their reach. They lamented that they were initially told that the hike would be for the new students, but were surprised that it was extended to the 200 level students. They appeal to the authority concerned to wade into the situation.
I'm waiting for my school fees. They want to have time of assistance. I want to advise the state government. I want to appeal to him to please reduce our school fees. If you check, we don't have good hall. If we are writing exam, we will use 3 months to write exam because we don't have hall. Our parents, they are not paying them. If you check the economy of this country, there is inflation.
The Public Relations Officer, AAU Ekpoma, Mr. Edward Alli, in a telephone interview, said that the new administration of the Ivory Tower did not increase school fees, stating that the increment of fees of the fresh students that was infected last year do not affect the regular students.
There has been no increase in school fees. The school fees regime that was there last session is what is still on. The students are protesting based on a rumor that there is hike in school fees. Various other principal officers of the university were around trying to seek audience with the leadership of the studentry, especially as regards that strike. As it is, they said there is no leader. So there was nobody to even talk to. Military personnel were coming on their own. They came out and tried to disperse the crowd using koboko and so on. And their presence made the students to run, here and there in a stampede.
The school management has instructed that all students should vacate the premises with immediate effect. Ferdinand Osakwe.
Yes.
Now that was his voice, and now he's here. I mean, the PRO of Ambrose Alli University. What are the issues?
The issues on ground are that the students are protesting the increase in fees that took place more than a year ago in the administration of a former vice chancellor. Fees which the students have already paid for a session, and they are now saying that they expect or were promised that the fees will come down in another session. Nobody gave them any such promise. And discussions were on because a group of students called NANS had come to the university, had discussions with the management, and the discussions were to continue. So suddenly, a riot like that coming up without notice, it was a shock to the university. And the issue, as simple as it looks, did not warrant such magnitude of demonstration. And so I'm beginning to feel that maybe a few students are being masterminded or wrongly counseled, who are now raising issues out of a matter that was settled one session ago, probably to create discomfort for a new administration in the university, or even probably a new administration in the state. The thing that happened was that on that morning, a few students came and seized the gate. Nobody could go in. So staff coming to work could not go in. Students coming to school could not go in. And accumulation started at the gate. People had come, oh, there's demonstrations. Students, of course, would be favorably disposed to such demonstrations. The Vice Chancellor and principal officers came to the scene, and there were attempts to address the students. The Vice Chancellor tried to find out who are the leaders, let us talk. At the end, he addressed on 2 different occasions a crowd. But the students did not heed, and we were there at the gate. Staff, students, Vice Chancellor, officers were all there. As it is, a lot of the students just came to meet a situation, and by the time it was gathering, it escalated. The leadership could not be identified. You didn't know who are the SUG, that's Students' Union Government, their leadership. They could not be reached. In any case, the SUG's tenure had run out. And of course, if the session started, there was to be a new SUG. So now, it's just this mammoth crowd. They have seized the gate. They now block the expressway from Abuja to Benin, a federal expressway. They blocked it. 2 hours, 3 hours, we're just there, trying to look for a way. That is what happened.
Okay. Okay, in case you just joined us, we have the AAU of Ambrose Alli, the PRO of Ambrose Alli University right here with us, and the newly appointed Dean of Students, Professor Don Akelu. And together, we are looking at the issues on ground in Ekpoma. And you can be a part of this program by giving us a call. Our numbers will be displayed on the screen. So please be civil with your language if you want to participate in this discussion. And please, you turn down the volume on your TV set so we can hear each other clearly. While the PRO was talking, he said just a little increment done. It's alleged that is over 400% increment. Is that true?
No, that is very far from truth. The increment, as he said, was not arbitrarily done. It was done by a previous administration. We have documents here with us, signed by the university administration, representatives of all the unions, student union president and secretary general last year. They arrived at the figures and when and mode of implementation. It was decided that the school fees will take effect from those who were to enter into the university last session. And it did take effect. The reason for that was that those who were already in the university, before they entered, already knew what the fees was. Those who were in 200 level and above. And so to shift the goalpost at the middle of the match was considered unfair. So they said, well, let us determine the template of fees, what should be charged, and those who will accept it should pay an acceptance fee after they have been exposed to the cost implication. Before now, the medical student pays about 40,000 naira for a section, about 48. It was raised to 160, only for medicine. And that is for a session. What it means is that it will take less than 750,000 naira to train a medical student from beginning to graduation. And as a house officer, your first salary is more than 200,000. Even as a copper, you earn more than 50. However, there are people who in the university still pay 34,000. I am a professor of religious studies. In my department, those who entered before this agreement was reached, they pay 34,000 every year, and they're going to pay that until graduation. But those who entered a contract with the university, that they are going to pay 97,000 naira, and accepted the admission, paid the acceptance fee, are the ones who haven't entered this agreement, have benefited from the admission, have enjoyed 1 year in the system, and are asking for a review. Perhaps they didn't quite understand. I want to give the benefit of the doubt to them. I also want to believe that the NAS executive, specifically the president, who has just come on board, was not around when that negotiation was done. He has told us that he goes around universities in Nigeria to negotiate for a reduction of fees, and that people expect that charity begins at home. And so there is this desire to impress his constituency that he has succeeded at home, and that gives him ennoblement to negotiate outside. However, we know that in the university, currently, the fees charged is not even enough to sustain the university. Because government funds the university, and the university must contribute. In some other clime, university generates funds to run its program. But here we are not strong enough. So what we do is government brings a part of the money for the payment of salary and the running of the university, and government expects a responsible administration in the university to augment. And when there was a serious shortfall, government enabled council to enter concrete discussion with the stakeholders and arrive at this figure. The range of fees paid in the university currently is between 90 for all other programs, 140 for law, 160 for medicine. If you find the average, it comes to about 110, 120. Like how you find the average. However, this is for a year. If you divide it, assuming it was, let's liken it to a secondary school that have 3 terms. If you divide 140 or even 160, which is the highest, by 3 terms, assuming it's a terminal system, you will come to what it comes to. About 50-something thousand naira a term. If it is by semester, it comes to 80,000 naira per semester. So, but the problem is that some of our students, they take advantage of their parents and their sponsors. They say school fees have been increased. And what they paid at 100 level, which includes concession fee, acceptance fee, which Some of them are not repeated, like the acceptance fee is never repeated. You pay it once and for all. When you add it to the fees, at the point of entry it appears high. Some of them keep demanding that from their parents. What the university told them is that what you are paying en bloc, the cumulative payments you are paying now at the point of entry, when you get to 200 level, it will drop because some components of it will not be repeated. That perhaps is what they misunderstood. The agreement signed by them is very clear. And I expect if there is opportunity, the PRO will read it out verbatim so that the world will hear.
Okay. Now, speaking of the agreements and all that, we understand this is not the first time that students, AAU students, are protesting the increments in their fees. So you said it was last year actually that they implemented this increment. Where the students carried along at this point?
Yes, as Professor Akilome has said, the form is a document.
Hold on. We just we'll take a quick break now. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us. Join us.
Join us. Every Sunday to Thursday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on your ultimate news and current affairs program on television. This morning on ITV TMI. Join us. The world is...
Thank you, Wilson, for the news. Well, before we went on that news break, I was actually with the PRO Edward Ayeba of AAU and Professor Don Akilome, the newly appointed Dean of Students, and we're actually looking at the issues, what happened in Ekpoma, what happened in Ambrose Alli University that led to the shutting of the school indefinitely. Now, I asked you if the students were duly represented and carried along during the increment on fees last year.
Yes. I have before me the report of the ad hoc committee on the review of fees for new students with effect from 2015-2016. The committee finished its report in July 2015, and from the report we see there are 26 members representing different departments, different stakeholders. All the unions were represented, and right here, Mr. Eromosele Richard, President SUG, was at all the meetings and was part of how the new fees regime was arrived at. Also, Mr. Ogen Orobo Solomon, Secretary General SUG, was present. These are their signatures in the document. This committee finished its report and handed over to management, who presented before council. It was considered at council, and recommendation was made to the government, and the government approved and ratified the increase. All stakeholders therefore participated: the students, the parents, the council, the government, everyone. And at that time, there was no protest. The students paid. They started by accepting. An acceptance fee is actually a financial token of the acceptance of a financial regime for the services to be rendered. The students paid the acceptance, went ahead and paid the fees, and did a full session. Between September last year and this time, it's more than a session. The session was properly concluded. What is baffling is the Students' Union government at no time presented any protest to the university management. The first that we heard of it was that a group called NANS were demonstrating in Benin.
Okay, now this is the second time you're using that phrase, called NANS. Is there nothing like NANS?
NANS is a body of students.
Official body of students?
It's an official and recognized body of students.
Okay.
There is an ESCO. But the people you see operating when NANS is doing anything are now faceless. The president will come out, but the people he parades, they don't look like students. And a lot of the NANS members will tell you they were SUG ESCO in so and so university several years ago. They are no longer students.
Is the president still a student?
We understand that the president is a postgraduate student of University of Benin. He is not even an undergraduate student. And in University of Benin, where he is a student, the fees have never been contested.
Okay, just let me pause you there. Now, just to let you know that you can call into the program right now. We'll display our numbers on the screen for you to call in. And please, like I said earlier, be civil with your language. And again, you turn down the volume on your TV sets so we can hear each other clearly when you're making your contribution to this. Now, do NANS go about, do they protest school fees? Because initially he said NANS, the chairman, he happened to be here yesterday, he's not here today. And he said the chairman said he goes about other schools, you know, intervening on their school fees. So do they have that right or that authority to intervene in students' school fees?
Definitely yes.
Okay.
In fact, it's part of the mandate of the students' representative to protect the interest of students.
Okay.
The unfortunate situation we had on hand was that there was no student union government in Ekpoma. If there was...
You mean ASAT when
ASAT
the... Or is it ASAT
As
now?
when the crisis came up.
Protest took place,
Okay,
because
ASAT,
the
when the
session
protest?
had been completed and their
Okay.
tenure has
lapsed.
ended.
In fact, the former student union president had graduated. We were thinking of doing an election on resumption. The vacuum created provided no leadership at Ekpoma, and that was taken advantage of by detractors. If there were student leadership on ground, there was a student leadership on ground, that leadership would have articulated our position to NANS and show evidence that this was a mutually agreed fees. But when the new NANS president came on board and he was pursuing it elsewhere, this reduction in fees, and many of them referred him to your state, Ambrose Alli University. And so he came. Those who were not properly informed in Ekpoma gave him information, but I can tell you, if not for the intervention of the NANS president, perhaps things would have been worse.
Oh.
I want to give credit to him. The last demonstration, from what I learned, I wasn't dean of students, but I was interacting with some of them. Because I graduated from that university, I've been working in that university, I've been a professor since 2008. I've been part of the review of school fees. I was surprised that there is no increase in school fees. What they are agitating for is a reduction in fee.
Okay, hold on, we have a caller on the line. Hello? Hello?
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
Doctor. Hello, good morning. My name is Bosse.
All right.
Can hear you. My name is Bosse.
Go ahead.
Bosse. Yes.
I can hear you. Go on.
Okay. Please, I just want us to be considerate. There is recession in the economy, and the tuition fee is too high. It's just on the high side. Please, I don't know if there is anything the school management can do in order to reduce this tuition fee. Because let's look at majority of those people going to that school, they are masses. Let's just be considerate, like the new thing was saying, that let's relate it to the normal school setting, which you have 3 terms. Most of those schools where they pay 50,000 naira, they are private schools. You can't compare it with a public institution. Please, let's just be considerate. Most of the students, their parents, they strive so hard in to get this money together. Please, I'm appealing to the school management to please do something about the result. Please.
All right, thank you. Thank you for calling. And before you react to what she said, the NANS president yesterday alleged that Ambrose Alli University, Ekpoma, which is owned by the state government, happens to be, if not the most expensive state university in Nigeria.
That's not true. Before the school fees were reviewed for incoming students last year, part of the consideration was the school fees regime in other universities.
It's even captured.
If you look at school fee regimes all around, there are, Lagos State University, for instance, pays as much as 200,000. Other universities, we find that the school fees we fixed at the neighborhood of 100,000 average compares as one of the lowest amongst state universities all around. It was part of the consideration. The increase for the incoming students was not arbitrary at all. Things were taken into consideration, and that included also the regime in other state universities. And we find that most other universities have higher fees. Yes, federal institutions, because of the nature of their funding, may be lower.
Okay,
but other state universities...
Just a minute. We have a Wadia from Benin. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, welcome to the program.
Yeah, my name is David from Benin.
Okay, Stephen.
Yes, concerning the school fees, like the child said,
Hello. Okay, we lost him now. Give us a call back. Go ahead.
Yes. So, it is not true that we are the highest. We compare favorably with others. There were things put into consideration. The government stance on funding, the governing council stance on funding. In other words, what comes into the university, the possible reactions of all stakeholders and the pinch on all of them, comparison with other universities.
Let me hold the one you read before the last.
That's possible reactions?
Possible reactions.
Yes.
So from this protest and the subsequent, I suppose that the parents also reacted when this increment was done. So can this not make the university go back on its stem?
No. This is not a matter of the university having raised fees, because the raising of fees is a past event. People can get up and also say that, what students paid 5 years ago, let's begin to review. You cannot begin to review a regime that is already on. Okay. It is like going several steps backwards.
Hold on. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, God's power. You're welcome to the program.
Yeah, I just want to make my contribution.
Go ahead.
Okay. The so-called SUG is working with the school. Okay? Because I graduated from there. What I would say is this. The increment for the school fees was done last year because of this early students. The students that just gain admission this year. What I want to say is this. They need to increase both the old students and the new students so that the problem will not be like this. They just done that because when they increased the first year students last year, they knew nothing would be done, riot and no other thing. That was why the SCG was working with them. What I want to say is this. They need to reduce the school fee so that they will be. That's my contribution. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Dean of Students, you want to react to that because I think when new students they want to get admission, they are ready to, okay, yes, they agree to anything just to get in. And when they sit, that's now in 200 level, you're telling them come back and pay.
Yeah,
is that fair on the students
No,
themselves?
in fact, they are the ones that are not fair on the part of the university.
Why is that?
Yes, because before they entered, at the time the school fee regime was determined, they already knew what they will pay on a yearly basis until they graduate. They knew. They entered into the bargain, got the first lap, and now started going back. In law, you cannot approbate and reprobate at the same time. They are the ones that are not fair. Assuming it is the university that tricked them to enter, as it happened in some private university with hidden charges. And then we are introducing new charges. You will say, it's not fair on the part of the university. Now, what they paid at the time they came in has dropped. Not the school fees component, but the cumulative, because there are other fees, acceptance and all that, which have been dropped, and it will be dropped forever for them. Now, these students are also sure that until they graduate, no matter the economic situation, you cannot review their fees upwards.
But that's what God's Power is agitating for now, that if you must increase, then let it go round.
No, that will not be fair to the students who entered at the time. School fees was on the average of 40,000. And for me, there are people who are sponsoring themselves. For us, if it were possible to run a free education, it would have been better. But we know that it is not realistic. Now, for a university education, that somebody in the arts, even with this new school fees regime, with less than 500,000, you will graduate from 100 level to 400 level. Verifiable. Except the students are taking advantage of their parents.
Okay, let's come to the protest proper.
Yes.
PRO, it was alleged that it was the school authority that called the military on the protesting students.
That is very, very far from the truth. As I said before, students were gathering. Started from a small group that seized the gate. The police arrived at the scene, and everything, the management, including the vice chancellor, arrived at the scene. Would the vice chancellor call the military to come to a place where he himself is part of a crowd unidentified? It is very far from the truth. We were all there. While this gathering was on, students put a mattress on the road, they blockade, they blocked there was a blockade on the expressway. Tankers who had no other routes were lined up, fuel, rice, all kinds of things, because the tankers had no other route. There was only one lane left for all those coming from Abuja. And right there, we heard the wail of siren. Wah, 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 wah. We were all surprised. Now, soldiers came in and jumped down. They were soldiers passing on their own. Remember, this is a federal highway. If this thing was done within the campus, these soldiers would not have had interaction with this. But as it is, the soldiers came and started trying to just clear the highway. Of course, what they do is shoot, and they shot in the air. The vice chancellor had no hand in it because he was part of the crowd that had to also run. Run for cover like everybody else. He could never have done that. In any case, by the way his person is, if you know him, he's a gentleman and he's a father. When Nance came and tried, he gave directive that, look, let this thing be calm and peaceful, and let discussions be on. And the discussions were on.
Hold on, we have a caller. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. This is Omo calling from Ekpoma.
All right, Omo, go ahead.
I was in that very day when that protest started.
Okay.
I used to do the clearance for my junior brother.
Okay.
Military were definitely called by the school authority. And even if that man is saying this, it was not called by the school authority. Okay, what the security did to the students was a very wrong thing. Abroad, such things don't happen. Students have their right to protest. It was a peaceful protest. So they should call those soldiers to order. If the school authority should call soldiers to order, they should apologize to the students and take appropriate order.
Hello? Oh, I lost. All right, Omo, thank you very much. Now, this is Omo who was there.
Yes.
When it happened. What do you have to say to what
And
she
I was
just
also
said?
there, and I've told you what happened.
How
would Omo know who called who? Was he standing with the Vice Chancellor? Who were those who saw him give that order? In any case, please, when you want to invite law enforcement at any level, there are procedures. The Vice Chancellor would inform the divisional police.
Could it be possible that the school knew in hand that the students were going to protest?
If the students knew in hand,
The school authority.
the school authorities, there was no inkling. If the Vice Chancellor knew or the Dean of Students knew, I'm not aware, because we all came to work normally. Everybody came to work normally. And if the Vice Chancellor or the school management did not want a peaceful demonstration, they would have called whoever before the event. But to be part of those even scrambling when the protest, when the army came, is proof positive that they were not the ones who called the soldiers.
And finally, Dean of Students, she also alleged that security men in school manhandled students that day. Was that also a lie?
Well, I wouldn't know the security arm that she's referring to. Perhaps it's the military she's referring to. But that the military never entered the school that day.
No, they are the school security authorities, and they were the military.
No, in fact, the school security authority were manhandled by the students. In fact, they ran for safety. They were not there at all because the students were the ones that locked the gate. A few persons, not really identified, locked the gate. And that is the security post. They took off. So the school security could not have manhandled students. The police, I learned, were there, and the thing was under control, except that the road was blocked. If the road wasn't blocked, perhaps it would have remained peaceful. If the army people did not also come in, perhaps it would have remained peaceful. But I can tell you that I averted a situation that would have been very bloody later in the day. When the nurse president came to the teaching hospital to check the
two students that were shot.
Yes.
No,
they were
not shot.
Okay.
That were injured.
In fact, the nurse president believed that they were shot. He called to say he had been told that 2 of his students were shot. I said, I'm at Ekpoma, no such thing. He said, if you get to Ekpoma, please call me, we'll go to the teaching hospital together. We got there, and we discovered that the students were not shot. 2 were injured. 1 had a fracture, and the other one had a cut. From the medical report, they were not shot. The students themselves said, one of them said, when he was running, he fell into a ditch and his leg twisted, and others fell on him. You know. Then for the person who had the cuts here, the medical expert said it was a vertical cut, and that if it was a gunshot, whatever, it's a horizontal impact, and would have seen that. And besides that, when the X-ray were done, there was no bullet lodged in. There was an entry point, no exit point. And so it is clear that there was no bullets.
But we heard it was the army that actually hit him.
Hit?
Yes.
Well, it is clear that it's not a shot. With that testimony, it shows that it's not a shot.
So there was a manhandling of students at the protest.
If you watch the clip, you will know that there was physical contact between the army and students in their effort to clear the express. I can tell you, we have the right to protest, but we should protest responsibly. In the university, if they had protested inside the university does not extend to the federal highway. And besides, they did a lot of damage. If you visit the university, you will see that they vandalized their property. You know? It's not fair that you do your own thing. No, along the express road.
Okay, front of the school.
Yes, federal highway.
Vehicular movement.
Federal highway with trailers.
This is when they came. When they came? No, this is the road. This is the road.
This is the expressway.
Please, this is not the school. This is the road. This is the expressway. And you can see how they came. Now they jumped down, trying to disperse the crowd from the road. You can see names that were blocking the road.
Come for safety.
Sure, because they were resisting.
Okay. I just wish we could go on and on with this, but finally, PRO,
Yes.
now, they almost said the school authority should apologize to the students for the way they handled them, and now the school is closed down. What is the way forward?
The university was closed down at the decision of Senate at its emergency meeting to safeguard lives and property. That one haven't been done. The situation calmed down. The students will now have to engage the university authorities, one, to show that they have done wrong.
Okay, you said they don't have student government, so is it NANS? Is it NANS now that will come in for them, or who?
Good. In fact, I am already having discussion with the university authorities.
Okay.
And we imagined that if we had, as I said earlier, a government in place, they would have taken control of it before NAS came in. And I said, if NAS didn't come in, the situation would have been terrible.
Okay.
So the expediency of having a government in place had become really clear.
Okay.
The university was just waiting for time to start an election, set up an electoral commission to conduct an election. But in the face of this,
yes,
the university is thinking of appointing a caretaker committee drawn from all the faculties and the College of Medicine, of students who will take custody or take control of this situation and enter into dialogue with the university authority under the supervision of NAS.
All right, thank you so much, Professor Don Ahilome, for coming on the program today. That's a newly appointed Dean of Students.
Thank you so much.
And Edward Ayeva, PRO, you're welcome also to the program. So we'll be watching and see how events unfolds.
Thank you very much.
Okay, charity begins at home, they say. So having done with AAU, we'll look at the ASU strike in general as it enters its second day today. Please stay with me. Let me call my other people.